Hey, I'm Ron Gerardos from keyboardimprov.com, and welcome to Journey Through the Real Book number 176, which is Duke Ellington's classic In a Mellow Tone. And yes, we are looking at every tune in the Real Book in order in a series of jazz piano lessons that are designed to get you thinking about these tunes in maybe a slightly different way, slightly larger, wider way, with a wider lens, so to speak, that takes into account the person who wrote the tune, how it's been played, and just really everything we can, about these tunes, so that it's not just sort of notes on a page and what scale do I use, what chord. All that's important, but it's really just the entry point. And most people never get beyond that, so we're going to get beyond it right away. So In a Mellow Tone is an invitation to enter the world of Duke Ellington's piano playing. And Duke Ellington's piano playing is really the whole history of jazz. There's even a little bebop in there, especially in in his arranging for saxes and everything. But you can even bring that into his piano playing, into your piano playing. And what he did, he started. Duke Ellington had the longest career in jazz, really. He started in the 20s and was still playing near the time of his death in the 70s. He spanned 5 decades, and he kept the band together the whole time, basically using the royalties of his hit songs to pay the band, even when they weren't making that much money on the road. It's one of the few band leaders that kept it together during the lean years of the 50s, when even Count Basie let go of his earlier band, and then a few years later created a new one, which had a little different sound. They call it the old and the new Count Basie bands. But Duke Ellington kept going, and his piano playing is sort of like a wondrous world of just all these different sounds, because Ellington combined the sort of smooth, sophisticated sounds, very elegant, very the world of like supper clubs and elegant ballroom dancing and just the high life, with the primal, what was called in the 20s sort of like jungle music, and he used that term too, Just these crunches. He would play, double-diminished seventh chords, where you play a diminished seventh in your left hand, and then another diminished seventh in your right hand. That's a whole step higher. So you can do C diminished seventh and D diminished seventh at the same time. And then it evokes like the railroads, steam whistles, which he loved so much. Evoking the railroads, You hear that in his playing. You hear polychords, C and D at the same time. Stride piano. Break up the pattern in stride. Diminished scale voicings, where you play like a G chord with an A flat in it, or even a B flat. You can use all those things, even as arpeggios. Anything we can think of, basically, we can bring to the table with Duke Ellington's playing, because remember, he's the guy who influenced Thelonious Monk. And the first time he heard Monk, apparently, he didn't know who it was. He said, "Who's been stealing my stuff? Who's been playing what I do?" So it's from the roots of jazz all the way through the avant-garde. We can do anything. I'm going to start out with kind of evoking his original piano intro, which is like A flat 13 going down chromatically to F13, and at least that's how I play it. And these are rootless voicings. Ellington anticipated the widespread use of rootless voicings way back before Bill Evans and John Mehegan's books came out in the late 50s and 60s with John Mehegan. He was doing it in the early 40s. So here we go, and it's like a roller coaster. Fasten your seatbelts, because might be a bumpy ride. We'll see where this takes us. A fun bumpy ride. Whoa, you can hear all the stuff I said before made it in there, most of it. You know, I had the broken stride. I did like a walking bass. And, you know, you can even bring in some, you know, the saxophone solo sections, you know. You know, like a big band. You can imitate a big band with Ellington's music. You can get very pianistic. You can do these wide spacings. Sometimes I was just doing, you know, a different melody in each hand. You know, it's interesting. Duke Ellington resisted being pigeonholed. He did not even like the word jazz. He didn't want to be put in a box. He called his music Ellingtonia. And I think that's the inspiration for all of us, you know. Like Ellington, you know, he imitated people like James P. Johnson in the beginning, right? Stride pianist. He learned Carolina Shout. His autobiography is incredible. Music is My Mistress. Check it out. He apparently wrote it himself on little napkins and little pieces of paper. And then Stanley Dance, who was one of his associates, a writer, sort of assembled it. But it's Ellington's work. He wrote it. He wrote it. Stanley Dance did not ghostwrite that book. Music is My Mistress. So enjoy every step of the way. And Ellington is a great way to branch out from sort of our narrow, sometimes sort of bebop-centric approach and become full pianists. So enjoy. Thanks for being here. Good luck with your playing, and I'll see you next week with another Ellington tune, a ballad in a sentimental mood. Take care.